Up in the mountains of California, between the Cascade and the Sierra mountain ranges. I'm out here looking for boletes, mainly butter boletes and porcini, but I might find a few morels, so come along and see what we can find. Ooh, what's that? So I'm here with some mature firs, and I was looking around at this big patch of kind of open ground, and I started seeing little divots, and I think if I look down under here, there's gonna be some butter boletes. That one is too old. Let's check on this one. Yeah, so it's a little soft. Yeah. But there's this big one over here. Let's see what's going on with you. Oh, also a little soft. But I spotted one more shrub here. That's not a bad one. Decent thump. All right, that's pretty good. And you know what? One more right here near the base of this baby fir. Ooh, that's by far the nicest one. Sweet looking butter bolete. Big dirty butter bolete. Let's trim this up. These are deep down in the dirt, completely covered. So they're dirty. Can't do that much right now. I'm gonna try to brush off as much of the dirt as possible. And then I'll cut off the dirt from the stem and some from the pores too. Wow, there we go. It's about as clean as it's gonna get in the field. Finish cleaning this one up too. Mosquitoes are coming after me. Butyriboletus. I'm up by Shasta Mountain doing some camping, mushroom hunting, and just kind of hanging out in the woods. There's my tent. Just want to show you guys my setup here. I got a cooler, some stuff, camping stove. I have my butter boletes that I found. This beautiful red-capped, yellow-pored boletes that are delicious edibles. Here's a bunch there in my basket. And I'm gonna clean these ones up on the board and start cooking them up. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So here's all the butter boletes in my basket. I took out some of the ones that had a little bit of bug damage and might not make it home, and I cleaned them up with some running water and a little bit of a paper towel. Got them kind of camping clean, you know? And now I'm gonna trim off any extra dirty bits and take a few minutes to get them ready to cook. I gotta fend off all the stupid mosquitoes here, but hopefully I can get my dinner cooked up before I get eaten alive. So this older one, it's a little buggy. Let's see, I'm cut it in half. Ooh, yeah, some of these parts are not so great. So I'm gonna trim out any part that has significant bug damage. But I do want to eat at least part of this mushroom. Take all this and chuck it into the woods behind me. There we go. Let's see this. Is there salvageable mushroom on here? That's what I want to know. Peel off that poor layer. You know, this one might be a little too far gone. I was ambitious when I picked it up. Okay, so not that one. But these ones look okay. They're really solid. I can see some bug lines in them. But if they're solid like this, they're going to be good. So if I was at home, I'd use a vegetable scrubber to kind of really get the dirt out of these. But I don't have one. So I'm just going to use a knife to kind of trim off parts in the cap where I can just see dirt that's in there that I wasn't able to clean off with running water. So get it nice and clean. Sometimes just trim it off right along the edge. That'll be the dirtiest part of the mushroom. Any dirt that's sort of stubbornly stuck on here, I'll shave it off a little bit. There we go. So that butter looks pretty good. This one has some pits in the cap, so I'll probably use my knife to like scrape out those pits, get the dirt out. Just trim off a little bit. We got nibbled on. With some dirt kind of embedded in here. We'll carve that out. All right. Into the woods behind me. This one also pretty good. A little knot on, but looks all right mostly. Again, use my knife to scrape some of that dirt out. Mosquitoes are coming for me. All right, so I'm going to cook these down in enchilada sauce, and I think I want kind of just nice slices. Not worried about a little bit of bug damage in this one. It'll cook out and be fine. Ooh, that's a little dark. Let's cut that part off. Into the woods with you. I don't want to eat actual bugs, you know? If you do eat a bug, it's not a big deal, but sometimes you gotta start cooking your mushrooms and they'll like crawl out and you can kind of fish them out of the pan. Just extra protein, as mushroom hunters say. Still don't really want to eat bugs, even though I have. Oop, a little more bug damage in this than I anticipated. It'll be alright though. Butters are very forgiving. Cut out this bit here. Big old pile of butters. Awesome. Let's get these in a pan. So I'm very intentionally cooking these as a dry fry. So there is no oil or butter in this pan. It's just mushroom. My plan is to cook the water out of them. So I'm gonna salt them now to draw some of the water out. And once they start sticking, that's when I'll go ahead and add a little bit of oil, put some browning on them, and then I'll pour over some enchilada sauce and kind of let them stew down for a bit. These eventually are gonna make their way into a quesadilla. I'm gonna give them just a little bit of beer water to help get them going, just to render out some of the moisture in them. We're not worried about browning at this point. We're just trying to cook down the mushroom structure so it releases the water that it has inside. And then after, once we've cooked all the water off, that's when we add our fat for browning. So these have lost all their blue color, which means they're no longer raw. And I can see the texture is starting to break down just a little bit. Some pieces are getting a little softer, and that's good. I can see a little bit of water still cooking off. I'm not quite ready yet to add the oil, but I'm getting close. Fish out piece I dropped over here. Okay, we're going to spray this with some oil. And stick to the pan and we can start browning. Trim some green onion into here. Alright, so I've got these relatively browned up, cooked down, got the green onion in there, and I'm just going to add some enchilada sauce and just kind of let them stew for a little bit. I'll let the enchilada sauce reduce down, and I'll load this up in a quesadilla. Not a bad camping meal. It smells good. I should pack some cilantro. At least you got green onions and cheese. These are really good too if you threw in some shredded chicken or something like that. It'd be excellent alongside the Butyriboletus. God. Those butter blades are so good. They're so crunchy and meaty. That's insane. All right, here's my quesadilla. Slap the top on it, get it nice and brown, all melty. That's how you make Butyriboletus quesadillas with enchilada sauce. Ooh, it's hot. Full of good stuff. Man, that's tasty. All right, doesn't look crazy, but that is a Butyriboletus green enchilada sauce quesadilla with black beans. Man, I'm so excited to eat this. Let's give it a taste. Ooh! Wow. That is so good. The cheesiness combined with the beans and the green sauce and the super meaty crunchiness of those ultra delicious fresh Butyriboletus. Man, that's killer. Wow. Man, I'm gonna devour this entire thing. Yum. Wow. Well, that's what you can make with a Butyriboletus. Pretty awesome stuff. Excuse me while I go finish this. Now that's the life. So I'm out walking the edge of this mountain meadow, looking up these big fir trees. And I got one right here. If I look down around the base in the drip line, usually near the shadow, there's a king bolete. There we go. This one's a little old and dried out, probably full of bugs, kind of hollow there. But I'll leave it to continue dispersing its spores, and I'm gonna look for little shrumps around here and see if I can find other little ones that are in better shape. So that's how you find king bolete. So here's another bolete right along the edge of the meadow. This one's also probably a little bit old. Sounds a bit hollow. But there it is. That's Boletes rex veris, the spring king. All right, let's see what's going on with this shrimp. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Nice big dusty king bolete. Oof, bugs are coming out everywhere. That's probably why I tap them. All right, ready? Ooh. All right, that one looks pretty good. See the reticulation on the stipe there. The pores are just going from white to slightly light yellow. So I could dry this one out or cook it fresh, but I'll trim it up and see if there's any bug damage. Looks pretty good. Pretty good looking porcini. Spring king, Boletes rex veris. Got a couple of shrimps here. Let's dig them out and see what they are. I have a feeling that this is going to be Agaricus maronii. Oh, nope, that's an Amanita. This is probably Amanita aprica, sunshine Amanita. That one's toxic, sort of like Amanita muscaria, contains ibotenic acid. This, I think, yes, this is definitely an agaric. Let's pull this out. Just trying to not break it anymore. All right, there we go. Hey, that's not too bad. This is a yellow staining agaric that tastes like almonds. Make sure it doesn't smell like phenol. It should smell like almonds. But yeah, it's pretty tasty. It's kind of like the king, kind of like the prince mushroom. That smells like almond because it contains benzaldehyde. So, Agaricus maronii. Ooh, what do we got here? Now check it out. Fairly dry. These are old porcini. And they're just infested with bugs. That's too bad. Is this a shrimp? Nope, that's dirt. Alright, well, I just gotta keep looking. Oh! Something right there. That's alright. This one might be okay. Let's see. Sounds solid. Yeah, that looks pretty good. There's some bug damage, but I'll trim that off. Nice looking king. Finally. Check out the way these porcini are growing. They're the base of a young fir. Dig them up. Wow, those actually look okay. Whew. Yeah, they're not too bad. You get a little bit of bug damage, but I think I could dry them out. Just gotta clean them up a little bit. Not too shabby. All right, I gave these a little bit of a wash, and now I'm gonna cut them up, put them on the drying rack, and try to preserve them. These are mushrooms that had a little bit of bug damage. You know, they weren't buttons, and they're a little bit big to try to bring them home because they'll just turn into mush by the time I get them home. But if I can dry them out, the bugs that are crawling around in here will jump ship, and I'll be left with tasty mushroom dust for later. So I'm gonna try to do the work, get these mostly clean now. Camping clean's okay, but give them a rinse, give them a wipe, maybe a brush if you got one. There's always going to be some dirt on the top of these guys. They are from the dirt. They will go back to the dirt eventually. I might just use a knife to cut some of the skin off the top. I got 2 Butyriboletus and 2 kings that I'm going to try to cut up and dry out. Kings are the best dried. Butters aren't quite as flavorful when they're dried out, but they'll do just fine, and it's better than letting them go to waste. At least that's the theory. So, try to do a little bit of work now, get some bonus later. Now, I got kind of a funky bolete here. Some of the pore surface is a little discolored, and I don't think that'll taste very good. So I'm just gonna cut it off and pitch it. It's totally fine to do. I'm in the woods, just helping to spread the spores of this mushroom around. All right. And cut this up. Try to trim off any little dirt bits. I'm gonna not cut my pieces too thick because I want them to dry out relatively quickly. For this, I've got my actual dehydrator from home that I'm going to plug into my car and run it for a little bit while I'm hanging out. I've got a power converter for my car. Could run a small appliance off the little cigarette lighter plug-in thing. I don't think anyone uses cigarette lighters in their car anymore, but they do still occasionally put them in. a vehicle. This is a weird looking porcini. It was crunched under some stuff, but it was still pretty good shape. So I'm gonna try to preserve it. Pretty much fit all in one big tray. Butyriboletus are dense. You can hear how crispy they are. Ooh, I don't know. This one's a little far gone, even for me. Let's see. Yeah, that doesn't look so good. We'll pitch this one. Alright, this one is pretty solid and dense, though. I think this one will be alright. It's just really big. Yeah, no bug holes, actually. That's fantastic. Huge mushroom to not have any bug holes. Also very dirty. Very, very dirty. Kind of hard to, challenging to dry this one without also getting some dirt in there. In this case, I do not want to keep a little bit of dirt under my pillow for the dirt man. I'm just trimming off the little side bits there that stubbornly hang on to the dirt. Use my knife to kind of peel the stem here too. Get rid of any extra. All right. In half. Nice. See that? No bugs. That's wonderful. Cut that little bit of dirt off the top. shelves here of mushrooms for the dryer. Excited to see how they turn out. Just try to get them crispy before I go home. And then later I can powder them and turn them into umami powder, but that's how I dry my mushrooms when I'm in the field. Video. All these butter boletes. Ooh.